I'm Lauren Wu.
And I'm Annie Phillips.
And we created Splash of Color as a way to remind people of why it's so important to protect the native environment and to inspire them to take action.
To achieve this, we used art, a powerful tool for communication and advocacy, and designed a mural that featured native plants and animals.
We organized 46 volunteers to help us bring each of the 62 colors,
each of the 9 species,
and each of the 1,475 square feet to life.
What contribution to our community? This is huge. Because this is beautiful, but it also speaks to us down deep. Down deep, these are special things in our community that we can lose. And only by seeing it, by really valuing it, by getting out and doing something for it, can we save these things.
We've already received a ton of positive feedback from the community.
And we have a ton of ideas for the next walls we want to transform. Vote for Splash of Color so we can make it happen.
Hi everybody, my name is Lauren Wu.
And my name is Annie Phillips.
And we are Splash of Color. Growing up along the coast, Annie and I, as well as most of you with us here tonight, have been surrounded by native wildlife. However, since we began involving ourselves in beach cleanups in the past few years, we've noticed that many people tend to take this for granted. We find thousands of pieces of plastic and thousands of cigarette butts at every cleanup that we attend.
We grew frustrated. While beach cleanups are so important, they don't address the root cause of litter. After each cleanup we attend, more and more trash is left on the sand and streets. Then more and more and more. The cycle is endless and we needed to break it.
To do this, we painted a giant environmental advocacy mural in Pacifica, one of the Bay Area's most popular beach towns. When we say giant, we mean that it is 3 times as long as this theater from wall to wall. It is 186 feet long and 13 feet tall at the highest point, totaling 1,475 square feet. Our mural features native plants and animals and has the message to protect what you love.
So why a mural? Art is a powerful form of communication. It breaks language barriers, educational barriers, and age barriers, and it's bright and eye-catching. People litter because it's convenient. Creating a mural that highlights the natural beauty of our native ecosystem creates an in-your-face reminder and reminds people that we need to protect what we love.
So, how did we make this happen? First, we needed to design the mural and work with the Pacifica City Council to approve our space. This process took about 6 months in total, starting in March, and we had meetings with different subcommittees and committees, as well as the mayor, and hosted our very own public hearing.
Receiving approval was one of the first obstacles we encountered. The mural team, full of professional artists, took over a year to receive approval.
Because of this, we were worried that we wouldn't even be able to begin painting before the fellowship ended. However, our process only took 6 months, and we were able to approve our wall in a fraction of the time.
We then began on the painting process, in which we really focused on collaboration. We essentially created a giant paint-by-number mural, which allowed us to involve community members of all ages and varying levels of artistic ability. This means that the 46 volunteers can look at our mural and say, hey, I helped make that happen.
This includes the Ocean Conservation Club from our local high school, as well as adults and teenagers from the Pacific Beach Coalition, and Tessa, one of the several young girls that approached us while we were painting and asked if she could help. Tessa returned to several of our paint days and even brought her family back at the end to show off her contributions to our mural.
With volunteers like Tessa being so proud of our project, we know that we added such a strong sense of community to what was once a dirty retaining wall. This is because environmental awareness is something everyone needs to strive for together in order to make a lasting impact.
From research on foot traffic and vehicle traffic in the area, we deduced that our mural will be seen by over 40,700 people weekly. This means that thousands more people will be able to hear our message and will be inspired to be a part of the change.
So how do we know that our mural will actually make a difference? We sent out a survey to Pacifica locals and received 473 responses. Of those, over 99% agreed that the mural effectively advocated for the protection of native wildlife. that the mural added a stronger sense of community to Pacifica, and that the mural helped to beautify the city.
But we can't say it better than they can.
Beautiful, meaningful, thought-provoking, inspiring the community to become involved in caring for and protecting their community.
Thank you for your voice. In the week and a half we spent painting, hundreds of people drove by and honked in support of our project. We also recently learned from a Pacifica mom that her kids took inspiration from our project and began hosting beach cleanups of their own with their elementary school.
So what are our next steps for our project? With or without more funding, our immediate next steps is to build an educational website that provides resources towards helping the issue and connecting it to the wall through QR codes. Many have expressed that they want to get involved but don't know where to start. So our website will utilize the power of technology to provide them an easy starting place.
We've already received several offers from our community for new walls to paint. So our second step would be to not only spread our message to these spaces, but to also develop a mural painting curriculum from the knowledge that we gained from this project. Rather than taking the lead on this project, we would pass the reins on to other inspired students from our high school to serve as beta testers for our curriculum.
We also have the opportunity to develop and teach a class on environmental science and using art to spread awareness to a local K-8 charter school.
Our third step would be to reach out to other Bay Area high schools to find more passionate teams to lead through our curriculum and to guide in creating their own splash of color murals.
Our end goal is to kickstart a statewide initiative and push our project outside the Bay Area, potentially even working with groups from all over the country.
Thank you for listening, and remember to protect what you love.
Wow, thank you so much. You absolutely brought a splash of color to the presentation tonight, and so inspiring. What do you see as the most important steps or catalysts for you being able to expand your impact beyond what you have already accomplished?
That's a really good question. So first, I think the first thing that we already have new spaces proposed. I think the first mural that we did really gave us the credibility and really helped us show new potential spaces, the owners of those spaces, that we know what we're doing, we're great artists, and we're really passionate about our message. So I think that the most important thing would be to be able to find the funding that we need to be able to buy more paints, to be able to fund more projects, because we already have more people that have been expressed interest in it helping us for the next projects. We have had at least 3 or 4 people come up to us with new spaces, with new ideas for spaces that they want to have the same message or an environmental advocacy message. So the next thing we would really need is just the means to be able to make this happen. So more funding, more donations from people. We got all of our scaffolding donated. We got 50% off on all of our paint. So that's really what needs to happen to be able to expand our message and expand our art.
For your initial grant, was that all, how did you spend that? Was it primarily on paint, or did you have other expenses, and how would you use the additional funding?
Absolutely. So our biggest spending was paint. We did get 50% off on all of our paints, but we still had to spend up around a couple $1,000s just on paints alone. We also got all of our scaffolding donated, as I mentioned, which would have cost over the budget that we had, over the $5,000. So that was really amazing. The rest of the money we spent on supplies, paintbrushes, wagons that we had to carry all of our stuff from our cars because paint is really heavy. And as well as, since we had so many volunteers, we provided food for them and really focused on making this experience something that was really fun for them and really engaging. And that was actually so important because half of our volunteers came back for at least one more day of painting, which really showed us that we effectively created a fun and engaging work environment with them.
I can keep going.
Do you have a powerful way to bring people back together in these communities after you brought them together once?
I think that would be something that would just kind of fall into place because we had such unexpected yet strong support from the community, which I guess we didn't really think about going into. We were really just thinking about getting our message out there. But we had so many people asking about our project, how they can get involved, like if we have future projects. So I think that just announcing that we're going to be doing this again, we're going to have like countless offers of people wanting to get involved because the message itself is just so inspiring and uplifting. It's something that everyone can relate to and something that everybody will lose if we don't continue to help it. And especially art and painting a mural, it's also fun on its own. So, I mean, kids, adults, we had all ages out there enjoying enjoying themselves. It was a really great experience for everyone.
Wow, great organization, ability to talk to the city council. I'm kind of afraid of city council. Not afraid of the president of the United States, but I'm afraid of city council members. Great job for getting it all done. You started your presentation by showing us all the cigarette butts, and that no matter what, it just kept coming back. Did you go back and measure to see if there was less trash and more care post these murals getting up?
Well, we partnered with the Pacific Beach Coalition, which is an organization in the Bay Area that hosts countless numbers of beach cleanups, and they actually track all of their everybody who picks up trash, like with their organization. They have an app where they can track how much they're picking up, where they're picking up, for how long. So, and they do this so that they can have like data for how they can show that to legislation to try and get changes not only within just the community and public art, but also within the government. So we are able to track it through that, but we have not actually done that yet. But we also, like we mentioned, we inspired the other beach cleanups at other schools, and we've talked to so many people, inspiring them through our message.
So did they see an improvement?
We had a huge beach cleanup last weekend with the Pacific Beach Coalition, and after that, we'll really be able to see whether or not that happened. We haven't gotten the results from that yet and been able to compare it to previous cleanups, but we'll have that information soon. I think the biggest thing that's important with our project right now that we can tell you about is that we have inspired more people to go out and pick up. Rather than having less people leave it there, well, we hope to inspire that as well, and we know that we have from people telling us themselves that they have done that. But the biggest thing is that more people are aware of this issue, more people are inspired by seeing our art and hearing our message to go out and pick up more and do more for the problem, taking things in and doing things like that.
And then once we make our website, we'll also have other opportunities to get involved and then collect more data. So I guess that's like the next step to our project, is actually being able to see our impact and difference in this sense.
I think that data will help you get more people behind you.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Let's hear it for Annie and Lauren.